Welcome everybody into episode 2 of the Form Hunter. Last week we had 10 selections. Wasn't too bad actually. We'll quickly go through them. We had 10 selections last week. Emma Frost came through. She went on the drift from $4 out to $4.20 briefly, maybe for about an hour or so, and then she quickly came in and priced to about $3.50 on fixed odds close. That was a good win. Just clung on after sitting park. It was a good tough win from Emma Frost. Cranbourne did a stack of work early to try and catch the mobile after galloping, and he came forth by a nostril. So he was actually excellent. I was happy with Cranbourne. He'll be better for the experience, and for sure he'll be coming on in the future for maybe another win. Then we had Bubba Scrub at Addington, who can bloody stick to scrubbing floors because he was useless. That was a terrible run. He had absolutely no excuses. He was on the leader's back the whole way. There was a sprint home. That's the only thing that could potentially save him. He might not be suited for just a stack him up, sprint him, but my God, that was awful. You'd expect a horse who's been knocking on the door to bloody get by up the passing lane there, but the Captain Crunch passing lane wasn't his friend, and Bubba Scrub lost to the stablemate paying $13, and he was $1.70, so a bit salty about that one. Sorry for putting you fellas crook if you got on Bubba Scrub. That was a murder in broad daylight. Then Shan Noble was good in defeat. He had to sit parked. It was a bit of a weirdly run race. He's got excuses there, I think. Obviously, he just likes a helmet to follow, and he'll be better for the run, and he'll probably come out and win his next start. Hurricane Hendricks down south, he was great. I think the last few races down there on the Saturday, it was very wet, muggy, horrific conditions. Not good for harness racing, really. The track was slushy. And then he just sort of, had to do a bit of work early, worked his way around to the top, then handed up. And that was his crucial undoing. He was held up on the turn briefly, and I think Wrecking Ball was able to get outside the leader and just cruise on by with that momentum. And then we were always chasing up the passing lane, and we got to about a half head on the line, and we we're always gaining on him. So stick with Hurricane Hendricks. He goes well. Then we had American Airtime in the last there, and he defied the drift, and he was excellent. He was phenomenal, really. And if you looked at the sectionals, he was an absolute sure thing on paper. Not too sure why he drifted. I think people got scared that his first start he galloped away in the mobile, but I was happy to just put a line through that as it was his first time back to the races. Or she, I think it is, can't remember. And she was just a bit fractious there and galloped away, but she was very good in behind the mobile. Led from barrier 4, got to the top, kicked away at the top of the straight, and was just too good for them at $2.50. That was good shopping. Then we had William G's Legacy on the Sunday, and some nice wet driving rain. Some poor drivers, the bloody had mud all over their windshield, bloody goggles and stuff. It just looked horrific. But Williams G Legacy, he opened at $4.80 on the Saturday morning. He came in quickly. I think he closed off around $3.50, $3.20, and the $4.80 or $1.90 each way was very good shopping. So that was a good find there. Then Anything Goes. Well, that was anything but a moral, really. I mean, it only just clung on, and it should have been kicking away and winning by 3 or 4 lengths. But Anything Goes, won at $1.30. La Sabina in the last. I was yelling that one home. $4.80 and $1.90 that opened at. So if you played the each way, good on you. But fortunately, if you got on the nose, it wasn't meant to be on the angle at Ashburton. It does look like it gets home first, but on the angle, you got to favors the inside horse. So the outside does presume does end up getting the chocolates there, and that was Geordie for the McDermott. So well done them. They haven't won one for a while. So, and then Rock and Roll Lover, a roughie for the weekend. That was absolutely nil. That is out of the black book. And we're on to week number 2 of the Form Hunter. My name's Edgar Patterson, and sorry, this week I'm a little bit sick. Don't know. I've tested twice on the old rat tests, and somehow I don't have COVID again. So I've managed to pick up some other flu, and just a bit under the weather. So bear with me while I try and talk through this podcast with a bit of a sniffle, and we'll try and do the best we can. So we've got a busy week in this week in New Zealand. Friday night, Alexandra Park, we've got a few group races. Addington's got a lot of standing starts, and you're gonna have to have some balls if you want to play them. But Yeah, so first of all, we're just going to have a look through the Alexandra Park meeting, and the odds have come out for them. So we will go across and head to, well, the TAB is playing up. So the error there, we're going to have to refresh the page, head on to Alex Park. Hopefully the TAB isn't working. Would you look at that? That's exceptional news. All right, well, we won't go there, and we will just talk about the form, really. So we'll go to Addington. We'll start at Addington, actually. I think that's the first race. And pretty keen to play Murano, who won absolutely like a good thing, should. Really backed in late, the favourite. Nothing too blistering on the times there. However, it was a absolute showing in the last of the day at Rangiora. Look at this step out wide on the track, sort of just patiently away, but it does actually step quite quickly. I think it just every other horse in this race stepped quite quick for once, and there was no gallopers early doors, so it looks like it was a bit slower away than it actually was. And obviously we just sat back, and it was a pitch perfect drive for Samantha Otley, who came out at the 600, peeled 3 wide, and within about 200 meters was in front, and it was game over. As you can see, Samantha just lets it go, descending in the middle of the track at Rangiora, and no one comes close, and she's barely asked it for an effort. So that's one I like to play at Addington on Friday night, the first. If you do want to have a go on that, it's going to be paying $4, I think, from memory. I don't know if the TAB want to fix their bloody platform. That would be truly something to, well, it's definitely not going to be working, is it? So we've had a mare there, but I think we can go for Murano as one of the better bets on the program. She's been running great. We'll bring up the field because we can't do that on the TAB even. So it's a bit niggly. We've got Madeline Stowe, who won. She's been knocking on the door, but in very weak grades. We've got Sunny Louis, who seems to have a bit of ability, and that's drawn number 1. But at number 1 on Addington over the 2600, some horses can get sort of a bit of hot feet there, and I'm not too keen to be playing around on the 1 barrier draw there on the standing start. Rachmaninoff, he's always an honest horse. He'll put his buddy 2 cents in. Trevor Grant, he'll whip him away, but haven't really seen too much of Ruakaka recently. I don't think it's been trialed. It hasn't trialed at all. Colin DeFilippi is driving. It's got a lot of gear on. It's got the the half hopples on. It's got the blinds on. So it's had a bit of gear, and I think you can definitely just let that one go in your books and just watch that for a later date. It has won fresh up before, but I'm happily to take Murano on, as with these trotters, you really want the informed ones. You know, when they're trotting good, they're trotting good. Murano off the front. The only concern with this is that Jared O'Reilly takes the drive and Samantha Otley doesn't. I'm not too sure why. I don't have any connections to the horse, but Jared O'Reilly is certainly a good driver, so we haven't really lost out there. But Samantha Otley isn't driving it, which is the one concern. Excuse me. And then we head further down the book to our next one, which is Eurokash, which is another standing start. But I do believe it's the best horse in the race. And on its last run, it is pretty much a shoo-in behind Harold Smith, who is paraded as one of the up-and-coming trotters in the South Island and the Canterbury region. And Harold Smith beat Salvo and Eurokash, and we've got handy enough similar field here. And of course, it did start on a 10-meter handicap, a little bit slow away. Eurokash, we'll just pick up that start again. But he was sort of in between a couple of runners and didn't really pick it all that well. So I think if Ben Hope can get him right up there on the tapes and getting ready to go, he should be able to have a better start and maybe roll and settle on speed. But Eurokash settles back in the running line here, about 4 or 5 back behind Harold Smith. Harold Smith makes the move around following Salvo as Blair Orange sends it to the top. Harold Smith then goes to the front and lugs about and has a look into the stables saying, oh, look, it's me, time for me to go back into the stables. No, it's not, says Nathan Williamson, revs it up on the arse, and it finally gets to the top. So now we're 3 back the running line after a few mid-race moves, and we've got a lovely card into it. And we come 3 wide with a lovely move down the back straight when the speed eases. Ben Hope gets it outside Harold Smith, and he's sitting pretty quiet here, Ben Hope. He's traveling quite nicely, and he goes to pull the hood here, and he just goes a wee bit wayward at the top of the stretch, comes back into a nice gate now, but Harold Smith has got his measure. Salvo on the inside enjoyed a beautiful run on the leader's back, and then Ben Hope is whacking away on the outside. The Bloss is a bit unlucky here, held up, but Eurokash comes again late and just finds a little bit more. And I think if Ben Hope can get him up to the speed, he will be very hard to run past. And he might be a very good chance at winning. We'll just see if the TAB have sorted out their shit again, because it would definitely help if we could get the bloody prices. It looks like it's loading, and yes, they're back. Thank God for that. That would have been a disaster if it was down for the whole podcast. So we'll check. We'll go back to race 1, Murano, and that's still at $4, holding its quote nicely. And then race 6, we've got Eurokash, and that's at $2.80. So that is slightly a bit short. Franco Yorick did win well nicely, but I think this is a very moderate field to what it versed last time. And I think if it steps, Take After Me is a quick beginner. And if we step, Eurokash, the Love You Gelding should be finding them pretty easy to beat, if you ask me. I've got a builder next door banging away, so hopefully you can't hear too much of that. Otherwise, I've had a bit of a mare there as well. Then we've got my favorite bet of the night, race number 9, Chisel at $6.50. Bit of an interesting race here. We've got one on the back row, Better's Tart. Maybelline, the Brent White stable, has been firing on all cylinders. They're just a bit poorly drawn here. Doesn't really matter over the 2,600 meters. However, I think Cheezel is a she. Oh my God, Cheezel is a girl. I forgot about that. Sorry, connections and everyone. But Cheezel has been absolutely running a storm, and this was in behind Darling Me. We're going to pick up her race and just have a gaze at what she's able to do, because she's one of my favorite horses, Cheezel. And I didn't even know that she was a mare. I did. Just gets a bit confusing sometimes. But here we are. We're in a listed race for the 4-year-old mares. I don't even know. Maybe it was a group 2. No, I think it was just a listed. Yes, it was just a listed. But we've got Darling Me, we've got Better's Tale, we've got Cooley's Light, we've got Manhattan, we've got Folklore. We've got some really nice horses here. And Cheese was able to rocket off the arm from barrier number 5 and get to the front. And that's an important role in this race, as she can find the leaders back, but Better's Tart gets there, and rolling forward is Darling Me. So she gets a lovely cart home, albeit 2 back the fence, and has to await gaps. Darling Me is traveling good. Cheezel goes back to the inside, gets the run now. Robbie Close is able to get the look in up the Captain Crunch passing lane, and Cheezel's hitting the hopples nicely, gaps the rest. Really nice run home. They ran home in 56.6, last quarter in 27.2. So she sort of stacked them up a little bit for a dashing last quarter home, Darling Me. And Cheezel was able to take off some nice ground. And then you go see here down Ashburton over the mile, 56 home. She came 3rd there from last. She's just been going really honest races, and I think she's got the gate speed to cross these sort of battler horses. Kusanova's been good, but I think we've got the measure of Cheezel. We've got the measure of Kusanova. And I'm just willing to hope that Robbie Close gets it onto the speed. Then we've got options to hand up to Maybelline, who might come out for a look. Sounds of Cash, Bravey Kelly. We've got options once we hit the front, and I think she's got the class to win this. She hasn't won over the distance. It's the only concern. She's more of a sprinter, but in saying that, I think $6.50 and $2.20, great each way chance, if not on the nose. And I think it's a good play. Then we head into the last for the roughie of the night, ArizonaWildCat. Race number 10, $11 and $3. We got Casino Action, the Better's Delight Bay Gelding from the Chris and Crandall Giddy stable at $1.90, and I don't think that's justified, to be honest. I think the Coleman's a handy enough type. Daisy Duke's handy. These are all handy enough horses, but we've got Kansas City Gym, Absolute Battler, Honor Scroll Battler, Shady Ruler Battler, Cab Callaway. I mean, Matthew Williamson, Ken Barron, they're sometimes a good combo, but Arizona Wildcat, if you go back in the form, second, 10, third, fifth, fourth, second, fifth, third, fifth. Honest as they come, Ahoka Arizona Gelding. Arizona Wildcat has been knocking on the door, didn't get driven correctly in an amateurs drivers race last start. Has heaps of ability for this kind of horse. Rated 44. We've got a Casino Action in the Coleman rating 49. Sort of the third, fourth best horse in the race. He's only had the 2 wins, but we're going to have a look at this third and behind Ajira, who's a nice horse and will be going on to win a few more races. And Daisy Duke's in here as well. We're barrier 7 for Arizona Wildcat was eased back off the gate. Yep, eased back off the gate. Settles in the running line, and then manages to loop around them and come and sit in the breeze and just knock on for third and behind Ajira and Daisy Duke, and the rest, they're not really in the picture. So I think we can definitely play around the Arizona Wildcat in the last $11 and $3, and they're the 3 bets for Addington on a Friday night, which sees a lot of standing starts. And the standing starts, if you're a harness man, you know that they either kill you or they'll give you lots of money, because either your horse steps or it doesn't. But now we're going to head off to Alexandra Park. And we've got Emma Frost again in the first. I'm not going to tip her out this time. Just solely on the fact that Hot to Trot is coming in like that. $4.50 into $3.80. Mark Jones, he's having a good time at the moment. We've got Bohemian Rhapsody as the last start winner. We've got a few horses in here go good. I think Emma Frost probably runs a top 3. She's good for a place multi over the 2,200 meters. She doesn't have a handicap. Crystal Hackett on board again, knows her well. I think she can step and be a place. But prepared not to tip her out this week. We do go to race number 4 with MrChip, and we're just going to bring him up because I think he is the best bet on the program in terms of value. Right, in terms of value wise, the $2.20 seems like good money to me. We've got a very, I'd say, average field here with Dream Prospect scratched. Upsize Me was disappointing as a short price favorite. Midfruit Luck has had too many chances. I can't go again. Ahoka Creed, James Stormont, he's driving pretty well at the moment. He's a confident man. He'll probably roll forward. But MrChip finally drawn well in a race where I think he's definitely got a lot of ability. We just go back in the form line and we have a second behind Bet You Have Time. He's ran some race behind Major Perry, who's gone on to Australian races in Menangle and win there. We've had Taking Care of Business. It was a bit disappointing, that run. Old Town Road, you know how good that horse is now, and he came 6th behind there. Take the Mickey, very good horse, has won a couple races. Came 2nd there. Home in 56.4. And behind Simply Sam, who was paraded as a good horse as well, 2nd there last time from barrier number 7. We will pick up this race because I think it's indicating of how good he is. He beats home Ahoka Greed, even though Ahoka Greed was drawn inside him. So those roles reverse. And you can see the gate speed from MrChip from barrier number 7 is very good. And we just need to switch those horses. And we probably do win MrChip. So he gets to the front after Ahoka Creed makes us work. Get to the front, settle. And coming up on the outside, Simply Sam. We just tippy-toe at the line and he's able to storm over the top of us because we did a little bit too much early work. So I think MrChip is a very good chance to just get to the front, lead. The $2.20 seems fantastic. I've got him as about $1.80, $1.60 chance. So MrChip race 4, I think he will be winning. Then we go through to the big races where we have the race number 6 for the 3-year-old fillies. Got Monaco Grace. We've got Queen of Diamonds, who was amazing at Cambridge. Came from last and ran into second. We've got Mr. Kaplan. Exciting race. Not prepared to have a bet here, as you know, it's a bit of a small horse field. You never know what's going to happen, but it should be an exciting race. Then we've got the exciting Group 2 mobile trot for the 3-year-olds, and we've got HighGrove, who's been absolutely smacked, $1.75 into $1.40, and I think it's fair. I think barrier 1, he can lead. He's got gate speed. He will just show that he is the best horse in the race, and from barrier number 1, he should be able to do that. As long as he doesn't get crossed, he should be good money there. Then we've got an interesting one here. We've got the HR Fiskin and Sons Anzac Cup, the Group 1 free-for-all. We've got Midnight Dash, the 1, Sunday Sun, the $1.45 favorite, and Bolt for Brilliance out there on the mobile arm again with a shit draw. So Bolt for Brilliance is, again, missed out there. I really do like Midnight Dash for a top 2 at $3.80. I think over the mobile, it's got gate speed. It's got Zach Butcher engaged, $3.80 for a top 2. It's going to be on the back of Sunday Sun, I believe, and I think it'll just stay there. And if Sunday Sun doesn't come out, it'll be on the back of Bolt for Brilliance, who goes forward. And then I think Midnight Dash is still a great $3.80 top 2 chance. So prepared to have a go on that if you don't like some of the others of the night. $3.80 seems all right. Not really too keen on anything else on the night. There's another listed stakes race, the Roy Purdon Memorial Pace. 6-horse field, leave me out of it. Better Twist is going all right. Bad to the Bones back from Australia. South Coast Arden are short off the handicaps. You know, they love to battle each other, but yeah, there's just no fun in punting in that. And yeah, really in the last race, probably going to have to go with Strength and Honor, $3.50. Brent Mango's driving, so he's finally had enough and he's employed himself back on. I think his second in behind 4 Kisses was nice. And I think from memory, yep, he did run second behind Old Town Road. So he does have the form there. He's drawn well. There's only one inside him. Jason Tees, of course, is hosting his own NZ Trot TV on Friday night. So he'll be hoping that his Canterbury form works up here off the ace. Peaky Fudder goes all right. But I think Strength and Owner should be winning at $3.50 in the last. So that's the Friday meetings wrapped up. Then we go to the Saturday down in Wyndham or Invercargill. Can't remember. It might be Invercargill. We'll just bring up the harness quickly. Yep, it is. So we go to Saturday. We've got 9 races, and I'm keen on a coupley. In the first, we're going to go for One More Moment. Blair Orange jumps on this Brett Gray trained horse, and it's been absolutely flying after doing things wrong early doors. We're going to pick it up here in its most recent start behind Jodium in a pretty weak race over the 2,700 meters. Gets 2,200 meters today, but gets a good draw. Should be settling on speed if it steps. And you can see here, misses away, I believe, and it finally, so it settles in at 4th there, and it's locked away on the pegs. Brett Gray's in a bit of trouble. There's a few gallops. He gets his way into the running line, 4 back the outside, never on speed, and on the short track at Invercargill, you sort of do want to be on speed. It definitely favours the pegs there, but you can see out here in the white and black stripes, One More Moment, held together, not really called for an effort. The hood comes off, adds another gear, has to just go out a bit wider as the 8-horse Kyle Lock rockets home, but One More Moment really hits the line nicely. And one thing I do like to follow with these trotters is if they're really hitting the line strongly, it usually indicates they're ready to go next up. And I'll look through, and I'm pretty keen on this horse. I think Justin Jacker does have a bit of ability. The stablemate, Matthew Williamson, jumps on board. Just that it's being first up, we'll go off the race day manners, and she looks to Steve stepping away. One More Moment. And Tease My Tartan, he's always won for the top 3, top 4 markets. He's lightning off the tapes. John Morrison engaged. He'll be stepping and running a top 4 if the stars align for sure. I just don't think this is I think he's another race where he won't be winning it, but he'll be running top 3 and 4 and one for your exotics trifecta's first 4s. Then we look down further on the page and we go to race number 4, Dem Bones, Dem Bones. Now this is a very, very good run here and I reckon it's a great bet. It's got no handicaps. It's got the junior driver engaged to get a penalty-free win. This field looks pretty average to the one it met last week, Dem Bones, Dem Bones. And Andy Hall came out and won here. And then it came out and won at Addington. And so it's got some very good form in behind that lot. There's a few in this race that, Tweedledee. There's definitely a few in here that have the measure of these horses. But Dem Bones, Dem Bones steps well on the inside there, a little bit slow away, but in this class, it's going to have a 10-meter handicap over every other horse in the race. Oliver Kite engaged. I think it will get its penalty-free win. It might be quite a short quote, but all we have to do is really see the ground it takes off Andy Hall late in the piece. And Dem Bones is buried away, fall back the pegs, finally gets some room, and the straight at Invercargill is not too long. Andy Hall descends down the center of track. Dem Bones finally gets a run, and just look at it, savage the line. It almost gets up for second. Absolute storming home down the outside. And I think Dem Bones, no handicap today, just has to run the same race, and it will absolutely piss him. I think Dem Bones, very good value there. And depending on what they open it at, hopefully it's not too short, then you can get amongst it. Now, there is one more I do like at Invercargill, and that is in the last. We're going with the last race again, and this is Pay Me Speedy. We've got Water Dazzle in here and Dr. Tim and Sir Brigadoon, who certainly are the better rated horses, and they've got good drivers engaged. However, over the 2,200 meters at Invercargill, sometimes it's better to be on the pegs, as I've said previously. And I think those ones might struggle to get a sit better than Pay Me Speedy, who follows out. Let me just see who it follows out. I can't remember exactly. And Such a Twist. And in Such a Twist does push the button and does have some gate speed, so it can go forward. And this is in behind American Airtime, home in 55 and 8. And Pay Me Speedy is the only horse that can sort of go on with American Airtime. And American Airtime missed away, won this race, then came out and won last week, which I tipped out. And Pay Me Speedy doesn't have a tremendous amount of gate speed, so the back row, second row actually helps. It's just going to get a nice settle into the running line. Mark Hurrell, great driver. He drove it here. He didn't drive it here. Sarah O'Reilly did, but it's gone to the front as one of the better horses in the race. American Airtime comes up outside it, and they both ran home in about 55 seconds. And Pay Me Speedy, you can see there, getting revved up and absolutely gaps the rest of them, and sort of sticks with American Airtime at the line. So with any luck, it'll find the 1-1, 1-2 back, 2 back, 3 back, the running line at worst. Hopefully those higher rating horses settle behind Mark Hurrell, or if they have to burn early, then they're going to be a bit more vulnerable at the end, and we can hopefully storm over the top in a smallish field. So I think Pay Me Speedy is a very good chance in the last at Invercargill. So we've got Pay Me Speedy in the last, Dem Bones, and One More Moment. We've got 2 stands in there, but it just seems to be a week of standing start. So however that goes will be however that goes, because if you're a harness man, you'll understand that those standing starts can be the end of you. But hopefully it's sort of, hopefully we can get on the right foot and the horses get off on the right foot and do the best effort for us. Then we go to Sunday fun day at Rangiora for the second time in 2 weeks. We've got an interesting meeting. There's 2 races for about $18,000 in stakes, which is good to see for these, Canterbury horses. I think it in race 6, the Ann Thompson Memorial Graduation Final Trot, and then race 8 is the Ann Thompson Memorial Graduation Final Mobile Pace. So we got one for the trotters and the paces, and it's a bit of an interesting meeting, and I'm not too confident on any of them really. I do have selections here on the screen. You can more than welcome drop them down. But I just thought that Absolute Dynamite in race 8 was probably the bet of the program, and I'll tell you why. We'll bring it up here because it was a great win, and then almost pulled it off again. So we got some good horses in there, but we're just going to have a look at its first win after coming in fresh up after trialing it, Rangiora on the track. So it's very familiar with it on its home track. Where was it drawn? Absolute Dynamite and Barrier 2. Didn't show too much gate speed on its debut. I think it was just because it was fresh up. John Dunn just wanted a nice sit. There was a bit going on early. A lot of horses did a lot of things, and he was able to just sit on his bum and just sit on smoking in his chair. And as they came past the winning post, had done absolutely no work. And the speed goes on down the back with Blair Orange and versus Swift Guy and Jared O'Reilly. 3 wide and improving is absolute dynamite. And look at this. All you have to do is watch that and go, yes, please. He's done absolutely no work. So the run does look a bit better on paper. But as you saw, as we'll see in his next start, he just follows it up with the same form and he just rockets around them. John Dunn barely touches him. And look at that. That's an exceptional win, even though it hasn't done any work. The horse that goes on to run second came out and won its maiden. The horse that ran third came out and won its maiden. The horse that ran fifth came out and won its maiden. So we've got a lot of form in this race, and he's won. Absolute Dynamite has won this race by a cricket pitch. So that is something to note down. And then we have a look at its very next start against Roll Your Own, who gets home. They're home in 56 and 8. This is good going for this class of horse. We've got some good handy types in here. We've got Serious Moonlight. We've got Ron McKinley, Sophia Bromack, Mitzi Gaynor, The Rage, Busy Loose, Silk Ariella. We've got some tidy horses in here. Absolute Dynamite, drawn barrier 11, was able to just chill out and not get involved in the early burn. Just sitting back, smoking his pipe again, John Dunn, and didn't do any work again and was able to employ the same tactics. Did absolutely no work. As we see as working down the back straight, he peels with a 3 wide run, manages to get to the breeze. And the speed really just keeps going on from there. And Absolute Dynamite just whacks away on the outside. We've got runs coming with Better with Bling, Roll Your Own, who's done no work, Serious Moonlight. They're coming from everywhere, really. Emma's Boy up the inside. John Dunn asks him for the supreme effort, and he's battling on in the center there, just knuckling down to this task. Comes again at the line, and obviously loses by half a head. Now, this is a very good run coming 3 wide, doing work, sitting in the breeze. Home in 56 and 8. And then on Sunday, he's drawn barrier number 4. We've got Wheels of Fortune, who looks very respectable from the John Hayes stable. We've got an emergency on the 1, so we're going to be barrier 3. I think we will either be into the 1-1 early doors or we'll be on the top. We've got a lot of options, and we've got the best horse in the race for me. And I think Absolute Dynamite, John Dunn engaged, race 8 is who you want to be on. And that's my one tip for the Sunday, having a bit of a quieter day there. And I just want to quickly have a look at my tips for the big weekend in Australia. They're up on your screen here. It's going to take a lot of time to go over all the form, but these are just my selections, and I'll highlight ones that I'm pretty keen on. I think Timsy, is drawn barrier 1 from memory at race 7 on Friday night. I think it was a very, very good first up run in Albion Park. It was drawn wide and it sat parked, and it was just everything going against it, and it almost won, and it lost by a head or something. And that was very good. We've got Jeremy Wells, who was very good last week at Wagga. Sat parked on a very slick mile rate. I think it was 153. I think he's drawn poorly again, but with the right tactics, Jeremy Wells can be winning. This horse here, I've been following it over in Western Australia now, and Gary Hall Jr., I think it gets the drive again. The driver might be changed by the time I'm reading this, so unsure on that one, but he tipped it out as an absolute moral. It galloped on the start at Gloucester Park last start. Galloped in the score up, missed away by about 30 lengths, got onto the peloton, cruised around the outside, kicked away and won by a cricket pitch. So that horse is going good. You can just quickly jot that down. We've got Surfer's Delight, who's been going good guns at Newcastle. Smooth Overarm drops back in class from Menangle and is running around in a rural Dubbo track. And then Friday night, we've got Alta Casino, who was an absolutely massive run. It sustained a 3-wide run for the whole last lap and boxed on some nice horses in Australia there in its last start. We've got Mosaic Art Fresh Up. We've got One Overall, who was with the Gavin Smith barn and now is over there getting driven by Greg Sugars every week. And I think it's won about 3 or 4 in a row. So One Overall has been going great guns. Von Art used to be with Matthew Williamson. That's been going exceptional for Emma Stewart, now with a great barn. So that's going good. Millwood Dior might be over the odds in the last there at Ballarat. Ideal Agent over in Gloucester Park. Then we've got Saturday, we've got Teddy Disco. I think it's a great 2 or 3-year-old going forward. It's been going great. Captain Crusader won at Menangle last start. Has been sent up to Queensland, should be winning. The Tax Collector looks like it's got a bit of ability. Hemsworth was a bit unlucky in the sludge last start and some very quick times around Albion Park. I think give him one more chance. Pelosi was good last start winning, gets a better draw on Saturday, so go again. Rick Riley, I've been following it for a while at Melton, finally gets barrier 1. Please, Alatormi gets the drive. If she revs it out of the machine and it can hold the front or be on the leader's back, it will, if not win, or come second. I'm that confident in it. It's been going so good. It just needs a bit of luck. Then we've got Amore Vita, and that is where I've got to on the form. So the Aussie stuff, I'm not tipping it out as absolutely sure things. These are just ex-Kiwis. Most of them, 90% of them are, that are going around over there that I follow. They usually go quite nicely. You can pause and, put them into your black book or whatever you want to do. And yeah, so basically that'll do us for the episode 2. Hope you've enjoyed. If you got any tips or you got any questions, don't be afraid to comment, and make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. And if you made it all the way to the end, comment down below saying, I made it. I bloody made it. Even though I was sick and I droned on for long, I droned along for too long, I made it. So I've punished your ear holes for too long now. Hopefully I found you some winners, and good luck to you and have a great weekend.